Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniela, and I'm going to talk to you about the Age of Enlightenment and the remains of this period that you can admire in Ferrol. First, I think that the first piece of information that I should give you is the fact that Ferrol is a city with a still quite important role in the naval industry. It all started in the 18th century, when King Felipe V, the first Bourbon on the Spanish throne, decided to choose the Ferrol port as a marine capital due to its excellent strategic and geographical location. And so, he ordered the construction of the most modern arsenal and shipyard known in Europe. If any of you desires to know more about this subject, I strongly recommend a visit to the Naval Museum. There, you'll be guided by people well versed in this matter who can tell you a little bit more about Ferrol's naval history and a few funny facts that not everyone knows. So, now that you have a slight idea about the city, I think the first building I should introduce you to is the former Arsenal Weapons Room. This building was initially dedicated to the storage of artillery, small arms, and pretty much any kind of supplies that might be needed to arm the Royal Navy ships. It was built in 1759 and now is considered a building of cultural interest. It's a very big building, rectangular, built in granite. It has a square roof that has a French-style dome, and, well, it is one of the most harmonious military buildings in Spain. Or, well, it could be them just not being objective, because it really is one of my favorites. Well, since we're talking about the building where the Navy kept its artillery, and I tell you that now it serves as logistics seamanship accommodation, which means that staff that comes to Ferrol to serve for the Navy, they stay there. Now that I've said this, I'm going to talk to you about the headquarters we call Cuartel de Dolores. So, it is the oldest headquarters in Spain, actually. It was built in 1759, and it's also considered a building of cultural interest. It is a really well-proportioned building. It has an amazing square inside it. It has a double gallery. It is really, really harmonious. But then again, almost all the military buildings in Ferrol are really harmonious because of our tradition. And the next building I'm going to talk to you about, really relevant during this period in Ferrol, is the arsenal. It is really important because, well, if we walk towards the arsenal gates and we go inside, we can appreciate several architectural works that have really have historical value. They're really interesting as a subject of study because of the proportions of the blueprints they did at that time. They were really advanced, and not every city could have those kind of constructions. If we go inside the arsenal, we can see the dumbbell, which is a brilliant work of an engineer that used tidal forces to run one of the best hydraulic systems in the 19th century. In fact, it is so well built that it still works perfectly fine nowadays. It is still really used. And in fact, even I am amazed that it still works today. I think it's a brilliant work, maybe one of the best things I've seen in this city. The next construction I'm going to talk to you about is the Castle of San Felipe. San Felipe was first built in 1598, as well as La Palma's Castle and San Martin's Castle. San Martin and La Palma were built in the opposite bank, and they were supposed to complement San Felipe. So, at that time, San Felipe was considered to be a really, really, really good defensive construction. Actually, it was supposed to be an example of a bulwark battery. This means that, on the one hand, it had an area with batteries and cannons that were aiming seawards. This means that they were aiming in the direction of the sea. And they were complemented, as I said, by those in La Palma and San Martin. And on the other hand, it had a chain attached from San Felipe's castle to La Palma's castle. And this chain was supposed to be raised so not any attacker's ships would be able to go through our coastal defenses. In fact, there is one celebration held annually here in Ferrol to commemorate a battle against the English. They managed to come ashore on the beaches of Dos Niños and San Jorge, and they were finally repelled by successive attacks until they had to retreat to the heights of Leon. As you can see, these three city castles were like the perfect defensive system. Just even in case the ships were able to go through the chain, they just fired the cannons and there they went. Eventually time doesn't forgive even the greatest buildings, so it had to be reformed between the years 1731 and 1775. But it is in a really good condition nowadays. You can go visit. There are some plays to, mock the battle against the English, and I think it is a really, really instructive and interesting visit. I would recommend you to go there and